Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Kessin. I'm the Director of New Business Development, and I'm one of the co-founders of Hayden-McNeil Publishing. And joining me today is our Marketing Manager, Heather Netzich. She will be helping out and helping me with questions. We are really pleased to be talking with you today and sharing information with you about Hayden-McNeil Publishing and our services and how we might be able to partner with you in terms of some of our custom publishing work in higher education. Hayden-McNeil is a custom publisher. We specialize in partnering with educators to design and create custom resources for higher education. It's really all we do, and it's our area of expertise. We know from the type of work that we do that custom publishing can increase sell-through on campus. It does for us. We work on a regular basis with authors that have a lot of success in having their books on campus. All the students have books in hand, and it's a very effective model for having products for the students. Custom publishing also allows educators to create and design more effective teaching tools. It's a way for our authors to create the best resources for their students, and we'd like to share more information about that with you. By the way, just shifting gears a moment here, it's a pretty informal conversation here. I'm going to be talking about some things. Jump in and if you have a question, as Glenda said, just type it in. We can answer them along the way. There'll be a little Q&A at the end, but we'd be happy to answer questions as we go. Hayden-McNeil Publishing has been in business for 22 years, really going on 23. As I mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders, and we specialize in partnering with educators to design and create custom resources. We've never been late delivering a book to campus, which was really one of our foundational goals in terms of creating custom resources. High quality products, high quality services, and making sure that the bookstores had the products on campus. We also, as just a sidebar, have a customer service net promoter score of 76. I actually didn't know what a net promoter score was until fairly recently. It's a customer satisfaction survey that is done, and some companies, in fact, many companies have a score of 25 or less, and some even in the negative area, which is kind of odd. But Hayden-McNeil has a score that's up close to Apple and Nordstrom. What that essentially means is that our authors are all thrilled with Hayden-McNeil, as I think the bookstores are, because they know what they're getting. They know the books are going to be on campus. The product's going to be available, very high quality, very economic pricing. So as we talk about things and you think about Hayden-McNeil in the future of possible partnerships, you should feel 110% confident that we can exceed your educator's experience on campus. So I put here that Hayden-McNeil understands bookstores. Well, we think we know what's important to bookstores. We know that sell-through is down because of probably high-priced textbooks. They're higher and higher. I think back to 22 years ago, and holy cow. Book prices are high, so students are looking at other resources. Where can they buy them? Can they get them online? They're also looking at print and digital resources, other avenues, of course, book sharing, things like that. And the books must be on time, and there has to be a fair return policy. All of those things are important to bookstores. Our goal is to help educators develop these teaching tools that are affordable and on campus. So I mentioned that we thought I knew what the bookstore wanted, but what I'd really like to know is what's important to you. So we'd like to take a quick poll, get your thoughts, and then just kind of confirm some things. If you just jump in. Okay. It's kind of what we expected. The increased revenue. Is it gone? Can we bring that back up on the screen? Glenda? Thank you. Oh, gone. Well, most everyone said it was all of the above. Somebody said other. I'm just kind of curious. Is there, if you can kind of send a chat about that, that would be great. Because we want to make sure our goal as a publishing house is we have two partners, our educators on campus and the bookstores. We know if we're not working closely hand in hand with both really effectively, we can't effectively provide great student products. And so we want to work hand in hand with both. So we'll keep going through, but we want to help you increase revenue. We want to bring sales back to the bookstore, and because that's where we sell our products. This is some information that actually came from NACS, from on campus, from your research student watch, from fall 2014. We had some of our own statistics, but we wanted to really represent information that you see. And it's just surprising to me, thinking about the last 20 years, 31% of students decided against purchasing or renting at least one of their required materials for during 2014. We would love to help you increase that. Most students cite that they're not acquiring the book because of poor communication by faculty. Well, I guess what they mean is the professors aren't using all the book, or they're buying a book and they're using half of it, or we all know that students, I talk with professors all the time, and they say the students want to know, what do I need to learn to get an A? And if it's not part of what's in the book, then there's a problem. We look at value as being a really important part of it. So price associated with full use of content. So I think there's a question.
Actually, Mark, if a comment relating back to the poll, which relates to the slide in that with the person that answered other, is that they are most concerned with exactly what we thought here, the value, that the content is matched with the price.
Yeah, and that's what the Hayden-McNeil is about. It's about value. The students often are buying books where they're not fully utilizing the books. They're expensive, but on top of that, they're just not using everything. So that's an important part of what we try and do. So one of the things that we want to talk with you about today is Sellthrough. Hayden-McNeil, I think we're an expert in this. We do a lot of work in the science lab manuals, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but we have a lot of full sell-through with products that we sell. I think some of the reasons for that are many educators, when they create their own materials, it matches what they use in class. They don't need any additional pages. They don't need any additional resources. It is what the students need. So they're only purchasing what they need, which can reduce cost just by sheer size of the book and what's used for the course. Additionally, I just think it's more academically effective because the professors are using a resource that is how they teach. It follows their methodology. It follows their pedagogy. So the students are going to be more interested in having a copy of that because they know they're going to get a better grade. So it's going to increase sell-through. When Hayden-McNeil opened its doors many years ago, we did primarily large enrolled courses. So larger institutions where over a year there'd be 700 students or more, or 500 students or more. And that's because we do design development, and our goal is to keep the cost low. But just in the past year and a half, we've tried to, we know many of our authors are teaching not only these large courses, but even some of our authors teach other courses as a sidebar. They might say, I'm teaching general bio, but I teach genetics too. So can you help me with my genetics course? And I have 200 students a year, 150 students a year. in that, but there's 800 in the general bio. We want to service that author on both projects. So we've created ways doing lower enrollment, and so we'd be happy to work with any professor that has an enrollment of around 200 a year. The larger the enrollment, the more economic the pricing, and we talk to our authors about that. So here are some of the reasons why many professors choose Hayden-McNeil. Here's how we're different from all other publishers. To start off with, we don't have contracts. We don't require contracts. We do business based on a handshake. We believe that educators should choose to partner with our publishing house because we provide the best resources, and from year to year they can simply look back and reflect on what we offer and determine that we're the right publishing house from edition to edition. So as part of that, all of our authors or the department keep their own copyright to the content. So our authors retain all ownership of anything they write, any images they provide, anything like that. So it's a very open partnership, much like that of a local print shop, quite frankly, although the services are just much deeper. We have a very unique custom publishing process. We have a dedicated managing editor, which is different than other publishing houses because we have a managing editor that's in-house and on-site to work with our entire team to build, help our authors build books. We have an image database of thousands of illustrations and royalty-free images for science education, as well as other areas of study. We offer, I think, some of the best pricing in college publishing. I think our average lab manual price is probably in the $20 to $22 or $23 net. So some are more. We might work with you on campus, on your campus, and the book might be higher, but it would be because the enrollment is lower and the page count or the physical features might be higher. But for large courses, we have very, very efficient pricing. And then all of our authors get an author website, which is a really great way to kind of help them build the project and track project status. You know, it's interesting to me because Hayden-McNeil, while we do not ask for contracts and we don't ask for any complicated partnerships, we still retain 96 to 97% of our author partnerships from year to year. That goes to that net promoter score of author satisfaction and authors just being happy to work with Hayden-McNeil, knowing when they're working with their managing editor from edition to edition, book's going to be on time, the quality's going to be great, the price is going to be good, and they're going to get what they need for their program. We work with many of the schools throughout the country. In all likelihood, we have some custom work, or have done some custom work on some of your campuses. The managing editor for Hayden-McNeil is really our, I like to describe them as our quarterback. They're really the point person that works with our authors in building the book. It's an in-house position where right down the hall is our designer and typesetter and illustrator to help build the work. So they provide all the guidance needed. They see the project through from the concept to completion, but not just from that for the first edition, but from edition to edition. So semester to semester, if it's semester printing, year to year, if it's year printing. And all of our editors have a lot of experience working with existing authors at Hayden-McNeil. Our authors get an author website. This is a product to use to build the book. I mention this so that you can have confidence if you direct an educator to work with Hayden-McNeil. They're going to have these great resources to help them build their product. The author website introduces the author to a publishing team. Who's my contact? Who's my illustrator? Who's my typesetter? Proofing is done online. Everything's online. It's web-based. In fact, there's a project tracking page. If the author wants to know how many books are on campus, they can certainly call you. It's great, week before class begins, but you're busy. We know that. On our author website, we actually have every book order and when it was sent, and when it arrived, they can actually track when it arrived on campus. So our authors know that the books are on campus. So that's just great information. We try to share the information that the bookstores provide in terms of shipping information, as well as how we manage the book as it's being developed. The image database is really a useful tool for our custom lab manuals, which is a large part of our business, and we'll talk about in a moment. We do a lot of custom lab manual development for the various sciences, and one of the things that a local print shop is do is certainly print the books. We don't just print books. We design and develop and help with the imagery that we think helps with understanding of conceptual ideas. And so our authors are looking to Hayden-McNeil to help deliver a product that gives the student a different experience. And that's what we're able to do with our image database as well as our illustration team. So pricing is really important. We know it's important to faculty. We know it's important to students. Quite honestly, in my opinion, it's important to bookstores because you're going to get better sell-through with fair pricing, with fair value. We want our authors to have the best products, best pricing available. The minimum enrollment of 200 a year helps us to maintain fair pricing and fair efficiency. Again, what we look for is even larger enrollments. If you know somebody that needs custom services and it's a larger course, all the better. Our returns policy is probably similar to what you see with other custom publishing groups. It's 10% within 12 months. And if you have questions about that, we can talk about it. Hayden-McNeil offers great customer service. Again, not just for our authors, but for the bookstores. So we look at our authors as being a huge, important part of our business because they help build the books, but working with the bookstores is a critical part of it too. So we believe our customer service across the board, from author to bookstore, is what sets us apart from all other publishing houses. I guess we just wanted to kind of state this again. 1992 to 2015, I've never been late on campus delivering a book. Books are late a lot by a lot of publishing houses. A lot of times they'll say, well, the author delivered the book late, the manuscript came in late, or we had some product problems. I remember, anecdotally, I don't know, about 12 years ago or 13 years ago, one of the freight companies went on strike in late July, and we had to, the trucks just pulled over to the side of the road, and we had to actually call the freight companies, pull product out, get a different freight company, and get the books there. And that's what we'll do. We'll do that with you, and we'll do that with our authors. So we're not, this is always going to be the case. So we're going to get the books out there for you. So two things about copyright. I've already mentioned that our authors typically write their own content, and they keep their copyright. That's an important aspect, but we also have copyright clearance. We have a team of permission staff that we can acquire permission of work. So for larger enrolled courses, we really have great services where we can do some work for readers or other areas of work where there might be some permission content involved. A very large part of the work that we do is custom lab manuals. We currently work with 229 schools throughout the country in creating custom works. Many of our authors have written their own content. Some don't have time to write their own content. So from our perspective, whether they've written their own content or not, if you have somebody that's not happy with what they're experiencing, they're a great opportunity for us because we have a product called Lab Partner, which is a database of content focused primarily in biology and in chemistry, with some geology, I think. But some great content available, and all of it is completely customizable. And then, of course, our entire staff to help build the books. So lab manuals is a core focus, but we do workbooks. We do areas where lecture guides, zone textbooks, when professors want to create some local textbook work. Of course, Hayden-McNeil is very involved in developing some online resources. Interestingly, in the lab environment, our experience has been that students and our authors still want print-based work for the most part, but the caveat is they want some digital ancillary to wrap around that. So we do some pre-lab, some post-lab assessment. We can offer these resources from a basic ebook, a red shelf type format product, to book companion websites, to course websites, to complete e-learning platforms. This product and the work that we do in this area, how it differs from other publishers is that while other publishers have products that they sell, we customize all of these work much like we do our textbooks and lab manuals. So the areas that we do most of our work is in the sciences. We specialize in custom publishing lab manuals for biology, for chemistry, organic chemistry, anatomy and physiology, geology, some physics, occasionally astronomy. It's all based on enrollment. If the enrollment is large enough and a professor says, I'm not happy with what I've got, I want something better, we want to have that conversation. We do a lot of work in the humanities these days. First year experience, college textbooks. We do some work, quite a bit in North Carolina actually. For English, custom readers, student essay anthologies, workbooks, speech workbooks, communication textbooks. Wherever a professor says, I'm not happy with the national product out there, and I want to do some of my own stuff, and I want to develop some of my own materials, that's really where we shine as a publishing house. And if they meet the enrollments, I promise you we can exceed their expectations, which will, if you've provided that kind of transition to us, it's going to make you look great too. So Hayden-McNeil sells books only on campus. Certainly all of our custom publishing for print-based work is sold through the bookstore. And we actually want that. We want the students to come in, purchase the book, and have the books available. Most lab manuals, many of them are consumable, so they have worksheets and things like that, and that's just how the books are built. But they are available on campus only. So you won't find them on Amazon. It says not on off-campus bookstores. Of course, if a bookstore is off-campus and they ask for it and they send a book order in, I think we have to fulfill that. But it's not outside at other institutions or like online or anything like that. So the bookstores, they're located in a warehouse right on our site, and then they're shipped directly to you. Our customer service team would work right with you for all orders. And again, we've just never been late for campus, delivering to campus. Thank you so much. Now we've got some time for any questions. There's some time for Q&A if anybody has any thoughts or comments.
Mark, this is Glenda. It looks like there's a few members typing their questions. We'll
Okay.
Give them some time.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Okay, Mark, we have a question from Sarah. Can you review, she wants to know what the return policy was.
Yeah, so our return policy is a 10% return policy within a year on all custom work. So, and just as a caveat, Hayden-McNeil sells a carbonless notebook that you might see on campus, and that's just a product that's not customized. And I think we operate probably like some of the traditional publishing houses in that textbooks are 100% return policy. Anything that's not customized, we would, a cardinal's notebook. But The custom work is a 10% typically.
All right, and we have a question from Heather. She wants to know, what is the lead time if we speak with faculty about how long it takes to have a course packet created with no copyright clearance?
Yeah, if it's all author original content, probably sometime, it's about 4 weeks out. So very fast services. So.
Okay, and Greg wants to know, do you do your own printing or is it outsourced?
So Hayden-McNeil is located near Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Ann Arbor, Michigan happens to have some of the greatest, printing resources for some of the largest firms in the country. And we have partnerships, close partnerships with a couple of houses. Everything else, all the pre-press and all the design work is done in-house, all on one site on one building. But the printing itself is an outsourced process.
So this is Glenda. I see that Heather is typing a question, but I'm going to ask a follow-up question that some of the members might be interested in knowing. Are they able to print it in their own store if they have the facilities and the equipment to do so?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess we've never really thought about the logistics of that and how we would kind of manage that. I don't know that we're opposed to a conversation about it. We're not set up to do that at this point.
And I was reading Heather's mind.
Yeah. So, so I would want to talk with Jeff McCarthy, is the president of our publishing house, and we just kind of need to talk about it and see if there's kind of a logistical way to make it happen where it could work financially. I just don't know. It's an interesting model thought, We just haven't thought that much about it.
Okay. Members, this is a great time for you to continue to type in your questions. You have Mark and Heather's undivided attention, so please feel free to do so.
All right, looks like Heather has another question. She wrote, fulfilling over-enrolled courses to expedite product arrival for students in peak time and the original order has sold out would be great. So I think she's asking if they run out, how quickly could we get more books to campus?
That's a great question. I guess what I would say is most of our authors, we have partnerships that are annual print runs. So because of that, we print a year's worth of books. So if there's 500 students in the fall and 500 in the spring and they expect another 50 in the summer, we print 1,050 books. So we're not going to run out in the fall. In all likelihood, we won't run out in the spring. If we need to do reprinting, it's usually the small enrollments for the summer. So it's, now if by chance we're doing a one semester printing and we printed 400 books and the department chair opens 3 extra sections of 50 kids and we're short 25 books, we can have them printed in 2 or 3 days and they'll be shipped out. So very fast. I would say faster than a local print shop, quite frankly.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, let's go ahead. Other questions, please.
Anything else?
So I'm going to ask another follow-up question maybe for the membership. Do you guys offer your product in a digital format?
Yeah, I mean, so it can be, we offer all of our books in either print or print with some digital components, or it can be an ebook or web-based. So we really have a conversation with the educator about what they want in terms of what the goal is for their students. What I try to convey to the author and the educator is, let's do digital if you're really adding kind of an experience value. So in other words, if it's got video, animation, some interactivities, some components that you can't do in print. If it's just a matter of let's make it a PDF ebook. I don't know. I guess I'm old-fashioned. I like print books. So, and I think the jury's still out, quite frankly, on how effective just printed books will be over the next 5 years, 10 years. So.
And can you tell us anything about your website, if there's additional information or testimonials there? I know we provided some in the documents menu.
I think there are testimonials on the author website, or on the Hayden-McNeil website. There's some information about general products. I would say that the documents that we've attached probably have a lot more detail and a lot more information about Hayden-McNeil Publishing. You just use that as a reference, and then you can always reach out to either Heather or myself at any point. Even if you have questions following this meeting, we encourage conversation and how we can more effectively work with you to do some interesting things.
It looks like Heather might be typing another question, so let's go ahead and give her a moment.
Okay, so another question. Does your author website get branded with the store so that it has the skin of the campus, or is it branded with Hayden-McNeil?
It's a Hayden-McNeil website. I mean, it's really meant to be a product development tool that's used for all of our authors at different institutions throughout the company. The book itself has the book branding and things like that, as well as if it's an ebook, that would have the branding with campus. So where we get to the level of brand, it's really at the product level, I guess, is how I would describe it, whether it's print or digital. Okay.
Okay, members, well, if you have follow-up questions, you can gladly reach out to Mark or Heather. Feel free to do so. Also, following this, you'll receive an email as well that will also include their contact information, as well as where you can find the recording for this webinar should you wish to share it with others in your store or on your campus or within your organization. And finally, members, it's always important for us to get your feedback. You know us at NACS. We like to hear from you. So if you get a moment, if you complete the webinar evaluation, myself as well as Mark and Heather would greatly appreciate knowing what you thought about today's program. If there's no other questions at this time.
Glenda, I just have one comment. Mark's email is actually just kesson@hmpublishing.com. So if anybody wants to email Mark, just take them off.
Yeah, my brother works here too, and she's an M. so I would get it eventually. It would go to him and then me.
There we go. Cross that M off there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's really been, a pleasure speaking with you and sharing information about Hayden-McNeil.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And this platform window will stay open for about 10 more minutes, so you can download the content information provided by Hayden-McNeil from the documents menu. Thank you for attending.